Welcome back on the channel, guys. Let me show you how you can find farming opportunities in DeFi every single day. This is Defense of the Agents. I started LP farming this token a couple of days ago, has been yielding 10% a day. I deposited 15. Right now I'm pretty much breaking even, but the price has been going down. I'm mostly exposed, as you see here, to their token DOTA. So 75% of my LP has turned into that because the price has been going down. This is the chart on the X screener. I had my entry something at around here, but I opened a 50-50 range when I started this LP. But the yield has been so high. You can see the liquidity here, 160k, volume very close to 200k. When I started, the liquidity was at around 20k, 30k. It was fairly below 100k. Then it went up to 200k, and when we see this bigger dip here, that's when some of the liquidity moved. So some LP provider just sold and moved on, and then that's where the price took a bigger hit. But as you can see, there was a downtrend noticeably ongoing. All-time high here, lower top here, and then another lower top, a lower top, another lower top. So although the floor was holding here, it was still a noticeable trend, less volume, but still it was yielding 10% a day. When you go into these newer tokens with lower liquidity and not a big community behind it still, because the token is fairly short-lived, this is a high-risk play nonetheless. Although if you go here on the X screener, you see they're looking good security score and all of that, but there's still a lot of risk because there's people who will not be looking to hold the token long term. They LP farm it, they move on. That happens with any given token. So the floor has now moved from the support level, and it seems to be once again back at here. But since I had such a wide range and the volume made up for it, I'm now at a better spot because my entry is no longer where it was. So essentially I'm breaking even right now. This is virtually what I had when in my original deposit. I had a few cents, I showed you that in another video, just to test it out overnight. The yield was promising, so I deposited more, and on average it's 10% a day that this pool is yielding. So right now the entry is lower. When I tell you in my Bank on Bitcoin videos, entry is very important, this is what I mean by it. It's better to have a bigger bag on the bottom than on the top. And I entered at the higher price level, but I just held on. I had a wide enough range to generate fees, because that's one of the biggest mistakes. I see people getting too greedy. They go with a very tight range. You should not do that, especially with such new coins, new tokens, and even major ones. I mean, meme coins have a lot of volatility. If you want to catch that volatility, you have to widen your range. You have to cast a wide net. Otherwise, you will miss these massive green candles, for example. And even on the downside, when there's a lot of selling, you can make quite a nice profit because this is still volume being generated, all right? And I started even with a fairly tight range for this type of tokens. Like I said, it was 50-50. Usually I would do 80-80. 100 with something like this, but I wasn't playing with too big of a money. I was planning to deposit $10-20, so I was taking a controlled risk, right? And that led me to this point. Right now I have the same amount of capital that I did initially, but with a lower entry. So let's see how this one goes. Right now, after a couple of days, I'm not at a loss, I'm breaking even. In theory, if this support does still hold, or even above it, it will leave me at a really good spot to take profits in the future, because we do not even need to test all-time high. If we test once again these points here, it will make nice profit. And this is a way you can go ahead, take advantage of these nice opportunities. Just make sure that the token is safe, you know. I didn't know anything about it, I did some research, but it has this good track record here on the X screener. So I took a controlled risk. I didn't deposit a couple $100, nothing like that, nothing crazy. And this is a good way for you to get experienced with these tokens, and sometimes you'll find good opportunities. This isn't exactly a meme coin. This token has, in my opinion, some potential because they can integrate some mechanics with the game and all. So actually, if you didn't watch my last video, this is a game. It's a real playable game. You can play it yourself as a human, or you can put AI agents that you own playing the game. It has an interesting concept, in my opinion. It can do well over time. So let's see how this one goes. Now the other liquidity pool that I want to talk about is this one. This one I started farming in the weekend. This is a much more reliable and long-term play because it's one of the biggest, maybe the biggest AI agent on the BNB chain. Essentially, this is AIXBT, which is a fairly well-known agent, AI agent on Base, but this one is in the BNB chain. And it has been yielding really good as well. Actually, the APR has been moving up for the past couple of days. In the weekend, it was at around something like this. I had the liquidity on PancakeSwap, I showed you that in my last video, but the pool was not generating as much as before. So I did go ahead and searched for another better performing pool with the same pair. I found this one on Uniswap, and in the last couple of days also generated quite good results. But this is a more long-term type of play. Let's go here on that screener so I can show you. This is my range. I'm farming it with a fairly wide range. So overall, this is what, 70% range. On the downside, since my entry, I'm farming it with a 60% downside range. I entered at around this price point here, at around 5.8. And I'm not at a loss right now. I'm as a profit with this one. Small profit, but it's a fairly short-lived position. This hasn't been yield farming even for a week. I plan to grow this over time. It has the AI agents narrative behind it. Once that narrative pushes up again, and I'm buying at the low, you see, if we zoom out for the whole chart, I'm buying at the bottom. I'm not buying at the top. So the whole idea behind this is to just compound, accumulate at the bottom. Hopefully, if all goes well, if Bitcoin doesn't take a dip to 50K or maybe below that, these ones will be reliable yielders as long as there is volume. But overall, if I look at my position, it has been capturing quite a lot of volatility, and the APR is over 3000%. So happy with the results. Let's see how it goes. So actually, I'm looking for more AI opportunities. I think AI is bottomed out. The AI narrative tokens are bottomed out right now. They're pretty much down 90% plus from all-time high. So if there is a time to get in, it is now. And AI is the whole narrative in the whole world, not just in crypto. But I do think that the future of AI is in crypto. I mean, long before we saw these OpenClaw agents and Claude agents and all of that, ChatGPT agents, we were seeing AI agents in crypto being deployed, interacting on Twitter, having their own wallets, buying and selling on chain. So yeah, I think this is a huge narrative. If I can farm the bottom and with fairly interesting volume, this might be a good one. And also, if you notice, although we're at a bottom here, there's eventually here and there, there's these rallies. And when these rallies happen, not only they generate volume that we can compound back into the pool, or we can use them to take profits. So something like this was the last rally that caught my attention. So this is at around 500%. So these opportunities do still happen. Even if the market is bottomed out and everything is boring, there is actually yield to be taken on chain. And even if this is yielding less than 1% a day and it's yielding 0.5% a day, it's still crazy results. So let me wrap up just by mentioning, if you look at these APRs, which are just insane, I'm not yielding this with very tight ranges, with 5 or 10% ranges. I'm yield farming this with double digits. In the first case, it's overall 100% range. And this one is around 80% range. So this is what I'm trying to find right now. AI tokens that have survived, still have activity, still have volume. And if that happens, they're still yield. As an LP farmer, you can farm them, make some profits. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So hope you took value from the video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. You know the drill, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. Thank you for watching, take care, keep exploring crypto, and I'll see you in the next one.